Salutations. We've talked a lot in older videos about things like matter and form, idealism and materialism, and so forth, but there's an underlying question that hasn't been properly addressed. What's matter? Nothing. What's matter with you?
Leave all material things behind.
All my fabric?
If you ask this guy, matter is made of atoms, or more specifically, matter is made of fermions, which are the particles that constitute atoms. The name atom is a misnomer, because atom means indivisible, and is derived from a long invalidated theory invented by Leucippus and Democritus, while what physicists call atoms are quite evidently divisible.
Come on, crack those atoms!
This definition for matter is both arbitrary and unintuitive. It exists only because of a simultaneous desire to call tangible objects matter out of convention, and to have a definition based on strict physical properties. The definition provides no actual scientific benefit, because wherever matter is used one could simply substitute fermions, nor is it useful in conventional speech, since things like electric currents, which are thought of as energy, are composed of moving fermions, while others like electromagnetic waves are composed of bosons. So why do we even have the word matter? What is it actually supposed to denote? And more importantly, why does any of this matter?
Not a joke, but an incredible simulation.
Matter is derived from Latin materia. This is a translation of the Greek word hule, which means wood, which Aristotle uses in a specialized way for his doctrine of holomorphism. Aristotle wants us to imagine a piece of wood which can be carved into various shapes, yet in some respect remains the same. Matter is that which is the same after an object is transformed from one state to another. This is more comparable to what physicists call energy than what they call matter. Matter has no fixed properties, but is the receptacle of properties. It can assume the form of earth, air, fire, water, or
cheese.
But in itself it is none of these things. In the Timaeus, Plato refers to this same underlying principle as chora, which means an open space or receptacle, like a canvas on which a variety of different images can be painted or imprinted. Later Platonists make use of both terms, explicitly equating them as Porphyry does here. Following Plato, Aristotle rightly rejects the atomist concept of void, which is self-contradictory. Void, i.e. nothing, cannot possess in itself properties such as extension. If the distances between atoms can vary, then what is between them is definitionally not void. To put it simply, if there is nothing between 2 points, then those 2 points are touching. If 2 points are not touching, then there is something separating them.
No hole will be left unfilled.
Since contemporary physics holds that space is not nothing but has physical properties in itself, it is in agreement with Aristotle against the atomists. If matter is that which receives qualities, then it encompasses not only all energy particles and waves, but also all fields including space itself. Therefore, matter in itself cannot be conceived of as inhabiting any particular location or consisting of a fixed number of separate entities or particles, but these are properties which matter can assume. Further, they say that it is unqualified, unspecified, and formless in its essence, not as if there is a time when these categories are absent from it, but rather in the account of its essence it does not possess them, nor even a single particular quality. For even if in our minds we differentiate it in its essence from qualities, we nonetheless say that it has them potentially. For there are two ways of saying that something exists potentially. One of them is when we say that in a seed are principles of the plant that potentially come from it. Another is when something does not possess such principles in its essence, but may naturally receive them and be imprinted by them, just as forms and shapes are said to be potentially imprinted on wax or brass. It is not a property of clay to be in any given shape. No shape is intrinsic to it, but a piece of clay always has some shape and is never shapeless. This is true of the qualities present in matter. Some set of qualities is always present, but qualities are not inherent to it, and they can be replaced with other qualities.
I have no character.
This is demonstrably the case for energy in physics, which is quantitatively convertible between forms while varying totally in properties. What exactly is it that is transferred when energy changes form? It can be measured and counted, but it can't be described or defined in isolation, only in relation to the properties it doesn't inherently possess. And for this reason, it is also incorporeal. Neither is it generated, but is the principle of generated things. Further, it is impassible, but is receptive of faculties that are affected in it. Further, it is unchangeable, imperishable, and unalterable, being like a mother, like a female, and a receptacle of all things like this. In any case, hule, as a universal principle, is pure potency in which nothing is distinguished or actualized, and it constitutes the passive support of all manifestation. It is therefore, taken in this sense, precisely prakriti or universal substance. The sets of properties which matter assumes, volume, mass, wavelength, momentum, charge, spin, magnetism, are formal. What matter contributes to the equation is quantity. When energy is transformed from chemical to thermal to electrical to kinetic, all of its qualities are replaced, but its quantity is preserved, to which the first law of thermodynamics testifies. Oh look, it all fits together perfectly, who could possibly have guessed this would happen?
I got this shit figured out.
An important distinction must be drawn between quantity and archetypal number. The archetypal numbers that compose the tetractys and correspond to primary hypostases are not quantities. The triad is not three monads, but a distinct entity, as otherwise it would have identical properties with the monad. When we speak of the properties of numbers, we are evidently speaking of archetypal numbers, since otherwise they would all have identical properties. It is the archetypal heptad and decad that give 70 and 700 their common properties, such as being divisible by 7 but not by 6 or 8. Therefore, just as anything corporeal must necessarily have qualities and cannot be purely quantitative, any definite number which is bound by limit is also qualified by archetypal number. Pure quantity without quality lacks any true properties, is indefinite, unintelligible, and lies below the order of being. It cannot be said to properly exist on its own. This is what in mythology is called the watery abyss.
Look down there, look, oh my god! It's nothing.
Clearly, however, there is an obvious connection between quantity and archetypal number. When encountered in nature, discrete quantities are always numerical even as their properties vary. The nature of this connection is explained by Proclus. Everything which is simple in essence is either superior or inferior to composite natures. For if the beings which are the extremes of things are produced by fewer and more simple causes, but those which are in the middle by a greater number of causes, the latter indeed will be composites. But of the former some will be more simple according to that which is better, but others according to that which is worse. That the extremes, however, are produced by fewer causes is evident because the natures which are higher begin to produce prior to those which are subordinate, and extend beyond them to things to which subordinate natures do not proceed, through a diminution of power. Therefore, the last of things, i.e. matter, is most simple, as well as the first of things, because it proceeds from the first alone. But of these simplicities, one is superior to all composition, but the other is inferior. And there is the same reasoning with respect to all things. In short, matter is caused directly by the one itself alone, and not through the intervening hypostases. Matter is a kind of sub-essential unit, a quantitative unit in opposition to the supra-essential units which are the henads, and to the archetypal numbers which follow the one. The principle of matter taken in isolation is known as prime matter, materia prima, but as we have seen, it is not encountered on its own but always in some form or another. This materia secunda is relative, as the material substrate of a given body is itself composed of matter and form. Since terms become susceptible of multiple applications at different levels as soon as the relative is considered, what is materia at a certain level can become forma at another, and inversely according to the more or less particularized hierarchy of the degrees of manifested existence under consideration. In this way, bricks are the matter of a house, clay is the matter of bricks, phyllosilicates are the matter of clay, silicon, iron and oxygen are the matter of phyllosilicates, protons, neutrons and electrons are the matter of silicon, and so on and so forth. By this definition, all manifest corporeal things are materia secunda, the intersection of quality and quantity according to various degrees. Thus, matter is the common factor connecting all observable, measurable phenomena. No, I'm not doing that. So stupid. Anyway, I hope this has helped to clear up any confusion regarding this subject. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.